Hello and welcome to Digital Farm TV Rural News. I'm Andy Walker. Confidence in commodities and expectations for post-farm gate businesses for the coming 12 months remain strong. That's according to the latest National Australia Bank Agribusiness Quarterly Survey. NAB Agribusiness General Manager Khan Horn said that while overall post-farm gate business conditions dipped from their December high, expectations for profitability and the overall mood remained optimistic. Projected capital expenditure during the coming year surged to the highest level in more than a year at plus 20 points, and capacity utilisation was sitting above the long-term trend at 79.4%. Sluggish consumer demand, however, continued to weigh on post-farm gate businesses and remained the single most significant constraint to future business profitability. The falling value of the Australian dollar, a good start to the southern winter cropping season, and unusual May rain in Central Australia are boosting confidence in the depressed rural sector, according to the Australian newspaper. Struggling dairy farmers suffering from low milk prices were rejoicing at the sliding dollar, with nearly half of all milk produced in Australia exported as milk powder, butter and cheese. According to Dairy Australia, every 5 US cent depreciation of the dollar against the greenback, as experienced last week, was equivalent to a significant price rise of 2.2 cents or 6% for every litre of milk sold off farm. Meanwhile, Beef Central reports that as recently as mid-April, the Aussie dollar was still sitting above 105 US cents, but had since sunk 7.6% to open last Monday at 97.37 US cents. This joy was still to be felt by livestock producers. Western Australian Nationals Party leader Brendan Grills remained confident last week. His party still had enough clout in state government to deliver key elements of the $300 million agricultural policy, which was the centrepiece of its election campaign. Mr Grills defended his party's commitment to farm producers in the face of a sustained attack for failing to back low-interest loan schemes for struggling farmers, according to the Western Australian newspaper. He said history had shown that such schemes, despite the support of farm lobby groups, did not work. The Western Australian Nationals had been under a lot of pressure from producers, saying the party had abandoned them. He described the Nationals' policy as the biggest ever seen for agriculture during the past 25 years. Australia's apple and pear industries need to take greater notice of the lessons learned in New Zealand since around 2007, when the Varroa mite caused significant damage to the beekeeping industry and impacted on pollination-reliant crops. Technical Manager for Apple and Pear Australia, Jesse Reeder, last said that while Australian growers increasingly understood the value of paid pollination, they weren't sufficiently focused on the threat of Varroa. In New Zealand, the Varroa mite had completely destroyed a number of beehives, and resulting management practices were now driving higher pollination prices. There had been around a 40% increase in the cost of pollination paid by growers, with prices going from about $65 for an orchard pollination unit to $100. The University of Queensland has been ranked number 7 in an independent list of the world's top 10 tertiary institutions for agriculture and forestry. Vice-Chancellor Professor Peter Hodge said that the ranking increasingly highlighted the global quality of Australian higher education. Governments of all persuasions needed to recognise what a great asset Australia had in the universities, he said. The university rankings were an important tool for students comparing universities and their strengths around the world. The University of California, Davis in the United States, and Wageningen University in the Netherlands were ranked number 1 and 2 respectively for agriculture and forestry. Finally, the latest in China's rolling chain of food safety disasters comes from Guangzhou, where 44% of rice samples tested were found to contain poisonous levels of cadmium. The rice was being served to unsuspecting diners in restaurants around Guangzhou, according to The Atlantic magazine. Unlike many other Chinese food scandals, rat meat sold as lamb, milk tainted with melamine, and thousands of dead pigs in a major river, the cadmium-laced rice wasn't just the result of unprincipled food providers trying to cut costs. Instead, it was a reflection of the serious levels of heavy metal pollution that could be found throughout China's farmlands. The country reportedly loses $3 billion a year to soil pollution. Well, that's it for Digital Farm TV Rural News this week. I'll look forward to your company again next week. I'm Andy Walker.